In the world of international trade and in economics, the concept of the comparative advantage is one of the governing principles. In addition, the idea of comparative advantage helps us to understand the benefits of dividing tasks into component parts so workers can specialize in their labor when a product is produced. The definition of comparative advantage is the idea that one producer of a good is a relatively low-cost producer of the good. The idea of comparative advantage is based upon the idea that some producer will have a lower opportunity cost of producing the good in question than any other. Let us look at how one might go about finding the economic agent with the comparative advantage for the production of a particular good or service. The procedure for finding the comparative advantage is 1. Calculate the cost of one of the goods produced by one of the economic agents. Calculate the opportunity of the cost of the same good produced by the second economic agent. Compare the opportunity costs of both agents. If the cost is less for the first agent, then it has a comparative advantage in the production of the good. If the cost is less for the second economic agent, then it has a comparative advantage in the production of the good. Here's an example of finding the economic agent who has a comparative advantage in the production of a good. Our example involves two countries, the United States and China. Both the United States and China are capable of producing cars. China and the United States are both capable of producing DVD players. If the United States produces only cars, it will be able to produce 16 cars. If the United States produces only DVD players, it will be able to produce 8 DVD players. If China produces only cars, it will produce 12. And if China produces only DVD players, it will produce 4. Now we need to answer two questions. What is the opportunity cost of producing cars in the United States, and what is the opportunity cost of producing cars in China? To find the answers to this first question, we need to start by writing down the formula for the opportunity cost, which is the amount given up divided by the amount gained. The words opportunity cost stand in for the words amount gained. Since we're trying to find the opportunity cost of producing cars, since we're finding the opportunity cost of cars, we will substitute in the amount of cars for the amount gained. Next, we're going to need to figure out what we need to substitute in for the amount given up. What we are giving up is DVD players, so we will substitute in DVD players in for amount given up. Since the United States produces 16 cars, we will substitute it into the formula for the amount of cars. We need to figure out the amount of DVD players, which is 8, so we substitute in 8 for the number of DVD players. The next step is to divide 8 by 16, which gives us 0.5. The opportunity cost of producing cars in the United States is 0.5 DVD players, or 1/2 of a DVD player. Next, we have to ask the question, what is the opportunity cost of China producing cars? Once again, we'll use the formula for the opportunity cost, amount given up divided by amount gained. Since the word opportunity cost is a code word for amount gained, we are going to need to substitute into the formula the amount of cars. Next, we're going to need to find out what was given up. In this case, DVDs were given up by the Chinese in order to produce cars, so we will substitute in the amount of DVDs into the formula. The next step is to look at how many cars China produced. The Chinese produced 12 cars, So we substitute in 12 into the formula. Next, we need to know the amount of DVD players China gave up in order to produce those 12 cars. And so we'll substitute in 4 into the formula. Next step is to divide 4 by 12. The result of the division is 0.33, or 1/3. So the opportunity cost of producing cars in China is 0.33 DVD players, or 1/3 of a DVD player. In our little table here, we see that the cost of producing a unit of cars is, for the United States, half a DVD player, and for China, 1/3 of a DVD player. Our next step is to compare the opportunity costs of each country and determine which of the two has a comparative advantage. In this example, since 0.33, or 1/3, is smaller than 1/2, China has a comparative advantage because it has a lower opportunity cost. That is, 1/3 of a DVD as compared with half of a DVD for the United States. Joe and Colleen work for a store that sells electronics, and their job is to install the electronic devices into people's homes. Joe is capable of installing 16 computers per hour and 4 big TV sets per hour. Colleen is able to install 12 computers per hour and 4 big screen TVs per hour. What is Joe's opportunity cost for installing computers, and what is Colleen's opportunity cost for installing computers? We will need to answer both these questions in order to find out which of the two has a comparative advantage in the installation of computers. Let's start out with Joe. The opportunity cost formula is opportunity cost is the amount given up divided by the amount gained. The words opportunity cost tell us that we're going to need to substitute in whatever the opportunity cost is we're finding into the formula for the amount gained. Since we are finding the opportunity cost of installing computers, we will need to substitute installing computers in for the amount gained. Big TVs are the thing that Joe gives up if he installs computers, so we are going to substitute in big TVs for the amount given up. Next, we need to look back at our table to see how many computers Joe is capable of installing. Since Joe is capable of installing 16 computers, we will substitute in that for the installation of computers. The thing that Joe gives up when he installs those 16 computers is big screen TVs. So we substitute 4 in for the big screen TVs. Dividing 4 by 16 gives 0.25, or 1/4. The opportunity cost of Joe installing computers is 0.25, or 1/4 of an installation of a TV. Let's look at Colleen's opportunity cost for installing computers. Once again, we will use the formula opportunity cost is equal to amount given up divided by amount gained. Whatever we're finding the opportunity cost of will be substituted in for the amount gained. Since we're finding the opportunity cost of installing computers, we will substitute it in for the amount gained. Next, we need to put in what is being given up. Since when Colleen installs computers, she gives up installing big TVs, we will put installing big TVs for the amount given up. Next, we need to substitute in the value for installing computers. Since Colleen is capable of installing 12 computers, we will substitute in 12 into the formula. Next, we will need to substitute in the number of TVs that Colleen is capable of installing. We will insert 4 into the formula. Our next step is to divide 4 by 12, which gives us 0.33 or 1/3. The opportunity cost of Colleen installing computers is 0.33 or 1/3 of an installation of a TV. So we need to now compare the opportunity cost of Joe installing a computer with that of Colleen. Joe is 1/4 of an installation of a TV. Colleen is 1/3 of an installation of a TV. So the next step, we need to find which of the installers will have the lowest opportunity cost. In this example, 1/4 is smaller than 1/3, so Joe has the comparative advantage because he has the lower opportunity cost. Let's look at another example of comparative advantage by looking at 2 countries. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, in 2000-2001, the United States produced 583.66 metric tons of wheat and 84.89 metric tons of oilseeds. The USD also reported that Russia produced 34.5 metric tons of wheat and 4.4 metric tons of oilseeds. Which country has a comparative advantage in the production of oilseeds? Since we are trying to find the comparative advantage of production of oilseeds, we will need to calculate the opportunity cost of the production of oilseeds. Once again, our formula is going to be the amount given up divided by the amount gained. And since we're finding the opportunity cost of oilseeds, we will substitute in oilseeds for the amount gained. Since wheat was given up, we will need to substitute in wheat for the amount given up. Let's look at the cost of producing oilseeds in the United States. The wheat production in the United States was 583.66 metric tons, and so we substitute it into the formula. Next, we find that the United States produced 84.89 metric tons of oilseeds, and so we will substitute in 84.89 into the formula. We will need to divide 583.66 by 84.89. This gives us 6.87 metric tons a week per 1 metric ton of oilseed. So we're going to write that down, and next we're going to need to look at calculating the opportunity cost of the production of oilseeds in Russia. Once again, we're going to use the formula wheat production divided by oilseed production. Once again, oilseed production is what we're finding the opportunity cost of, and so it will go into the denominator. Wheat is what we're giving up, so it will be in the numerator. Russia produced 34.45 metric tons of wheat, so we will substitute in 34.45 metric tons of wheat into the formula. Russia produced 4.41 metric tons of oilseeds, so we will substitute in 4.41 metric tons of oilseeds into the formula. Next, we're going to divide 34.45 by 4.41, and that's going to give us 7.81 metric tons of wheat per metric ton of oilseed. So the cost of producing oilseeds in the United States was 6.87 metric tons of wheat per metric ton of oilseeds, and in Russia it's 7.87 metric tons of wheat per oilseeds. Since the cost of producing oilseeds is 6.87 in the United States and the cost of producing oilseeds is 7.81 in Russia, the United States has a comparative advantage in the production of oilseeds because the cost per metric ton is less in the United States than it is in Russia.